Welcome to With Miska podcast. On this episode, my guest is Tomi Tajakka from a band called Steve N Seagulls. Well, and his artist name is Remmel. Remmel? Well, anyway, he's basically the lead singer of Steve N Seagulls. And this episode will be in English too. We did this using Skype. He was in Finland and I was here in LA. And the cool thing with Tomi is that I have known him since I was like maybe 7 or 10 years old. We grew up in the same town in Iisalmi in Finland, and we also played in same circles. And it's been cool to notice, like a few years ago when Steve N Seagulls is this band that plays bluegrass versions of like Metallica and AC/DC, Guns N' Roses songs and that kind of stuff. So they became like this. They had a viral hit. They had like many viral hits. They made I think one of the biggest ones in the beginning they had was AC/DC's Thunderstruck. They filmed that cover version and they got like many millions of views. And they've been touring the world for a couple of years. And I've actually seen Steve N Seagulls here in LA 2 times already. And I went to see their last gig here. And then I spoke with Tomi that we should do a podcast. So this is going to be exciting. We're going to be talking with the touring musician who's living the dream. It's been interesting to notice, like, because Tomi, we were really playing in the same bands and all that, but his career went that way. So we're going to talk about that. And as far as how I'm doing here in LA, well, everything's pretty much the same. I booked another role. That was cool. I booked a role in a short film. We're going to film it in a couple of days. I'm going to be playing a creepy cameraman in this short film. The short film is called Method. I think it's already on IMDb. And that was cool. I didn't know the people who made it, and I went to audition and I got the part. So this thing actually works. So it's fun. And I have a couple of friends, Henrik Czesek, Pietari Vihula, and Mika Niva. They are coming soon here to LA, and we're going to have a stand-up show in Finnish, in the Finnish club, Suomi Kerho. So I get to perform some stand-up comedy in Finnish for Finnish people. So that's pretty much it. Everything's very hot because it's been hot summer here, and I'm definitely not minding it. I don't want to complain that it's too hot because that's one of the main reasons why I enjoy being here in LA, because it's so warm. So it's summer here, and that's it. Enjoy. This is me and Tomi Tajakka, Remmel from Steve N Seagulls. Enjoy. Okay, so we have Remmel. We have Remmel from Steve N Seagulls. So his name is Tomi Tajakka, and we're actually both from Finland, but we thought that we're going to be doing this in English because they might have some Steve N Seagulls has some international fans. So who should I call you?
You can call me anything you want.
Okay, I'm going to call you Tomi because I've known you like 35 years as Tomi, if that's okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so we're actually from the same town, me and Tomi, from Iisalmi, from Finland, and we have, I think, first time. When do you think was the first time we actually met?
It must have something to do with kids from that area, so it could have been maybe 25 years ago.
Yes.
Something like that, I would say.
Yes. So, and you have I'm right now here in California. There's some weird airplanes. No, actually, there's some helicopters going up there, but don't worry. And where are you now?
I'm actually at my home. I just moved back to my hometown, Iisalmi, and I'm sitting here at the place where my grandparents used to live. So I'm enjoying the countryside morning here in Finland.
Well, how does it feel like move back to Iisalmi?
It actually feels really good. I've been enjoying these past few weeks living back here in my hometown, and it's been nice. I've been enjoying the peace and quiet here.
And why did you move there?
Well, I moved away from here 2001. I went to study in a university town called Jyväskylä here in Finland, and since then I've been moving around. Lived in Jyväskylä for about 15 years, and then I moved to the capital for a year. And I think it was last Christmas when I came and visited my mother and my other siblings here in Iisalmi, and I just started to feel like this might be a good place to live in. And then my grandpa had to move away from the farm, so the house was empty and we had to figure out what to do with it. And so I decided I might as well move back here and take care of this house, because it's pretty much closest thing to home for me.
And where is it there in Iisalmi?
It's located about 12 kilometers from the city center in a place called Koukunjoki. I don't know if the people listening to this will know where that is, but maybe you can Google.
But you actually, so it's like some kind of old country home.
Yeah, it's they used to have cows and chickens and stuff like that here, but now the fields are rented to another farmer, and there's actually, it's an old house. It's been here for about 100 years, so it's a nice place. I've been spending my time here since I was maybe 3 years old, so I know this place really well.
So what do you do there?
You mean here at the countryside?
Yeah, how do you spend your time?
I've been taking care of the yard. My grandpa is getting pretty old, so he hasn't been able to take care of the yard or the surroundings of the house. So I've been trying to fix it up a little bit, and I've been playing a lot of guitar, listening to my LPs, spending time outside when it's not raining, and all kinds of stuff. There's lots of stuff to do, and it's a beautiful place, a small island here close by the town. So there's a lot of stuff to do. So I don't actually have to make up anything. I can just start doing something, and I can spend the whole day doing that.
So is there still people you know there from the old times? I have some relatives living close by, and then a couple of neighbors have been living here for the past, I'd say maybe 40 years. So they're a little bit older than me, but they are still the same as they were 20 years ago. So yeah, there's some people here at the countryside and also at the city. There's a lot of old school musicians that still live in Iisalmi, and they're pretty cool guys. I think you even might know some of them. Yeah, I think I know many of them. And then in so you tour around the world, and then you go back there to countryside by yourself. Is that the case?
Well, yeah, pretty much, yeah. I've been only living here now for about a month, so I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I would think that as soon as I get back home or get back to Finland, I'll head here and take it easy for a little while before the next gig. So,
how's the contrast?
The what?
Contrast.
Oh yeah, I like it. It's good because you can tune down here when you come to this place. You can totally tune down and enjoy your time, and it seems to be so also that I'm a lot more how would you say, productive here than I was in the city. I actually get a lot more stuff done. I play a lot more music, and yeah, I think the free space and open space is good for me. So
when did you start this music, like for the first time?
I think I started to play guitar maybe on the 3rd grade, but that was more about my dad had a guitar, so I was kind of fiddling around with that.
So 3rd grade, you're like 10?
Yeah, 10-ish. I think it got a little bit more serious on the 7th grade when I was 13, 14. That's when I started to actually practice, and we even had some bands at that time. But music has been quite a big part at my home since I was a small kid. We've had a lot of records, and we've been listening to a lot of music and watching VHS tapes, all kinds of live performances from different bands. But I think I started to seriously play when I was maybe 13, 14.
So your dad plays?
A little bit. He's had that as a hobby, I guess, since he was a young kid. So he's always had guitars and he's always listened to a lot of music.
Do you think it had an effect that there was, well, possibly, of course, yeah, that there was instruments in the house all the time?
Yeah, it had an effect, and I think the biggest effect was that there was tons of different LPs, different live videos and stuff like that. So I somehow found that really interesting, and I kept on watching those performances by different bands, and I kept on listening to music, and I think that was one of the biggest effects. And also my older brother started playing drums when he was, 13 or something, so I also found it really interesting when they started their first band, and I was really proud and went to see them a lot and thought that it looked and sounded pretty cool.
So what was like the first music that you remember? Because you said that you had a lot of records.
Yeah. I do remember listening to this kids album. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a Christmas album. And I think the first artist that I remember listening to was Jimi Hendrix and his album Axis Bold as Love. Because I do remember asking my mother that what does Foxy Lady mean, and she tried to come up with a PG rated answer for that.
You remember what she said?
I think she said something like, well, that's a little bit different, girl, or something like that. I do remember asking that. I remember it was in our living room, and I was watching some sort of a videotape of Jimi Hendrix performing, and he was playing Foxy Lady, and I recognized that song, that it was Foxy Lady, and I asked my mom that, do you know what that means? And she goes, well, it's just a little bit different, girl, Go play.
Yeah. And that's where it started.
Well, yeah, I think that's one of the first memories. Of course, there was a lot of music. I spent a lot of time here, actually, with my grandparents, and my grandpa used to sing a lot. He sang in choirs and stuff like that. So there was also some religious music involved. He was in a church choir and stuff like that. So
what kind of religious music?
The basic
hymns.
The basic Finnish Lutheran, the stuff that they sing in Lutheran churches here. I think it's the most common religious music here in Finland. So
I guess very non-rhythmical.
Non-rhythmical, yeah, and quite not the happiest stuff. Also, it's quite a slow, well, not slow, but like a medium tempo, and but they have some nice melodies there. They're not very happy. They're not in major chords. They're usually in minors, and and not depressing or anything like that. But yeah, that was also somewhat part of my youth.
Could you say one song if someone wants to check it out?
From the religious stuff?
Yeah.
That's a tough question, actually. I haven't listened to that or sang that stuff for ages, but I don't know about the religious stuff, but my grandpa was a big Veikko Lavi fan also, so there was some...
Veikko, and then it's Lavi.
Yeah, he had some C cassettes from this guy, and I also listened to that stuff when I was a kid, when I was visiting my grandparents here. So yeah, I think that's the one that people should check out. Veikko Lavi. You can find it on Spotify at least.
Yeah. So then you start playing around 7th grade when you're like 12-ish?
Yeah, 12, 13, something like that.
What were the first bands?
We had a band with actually the artist from Iisalmi that you also know, Petteri Tikkanen. He was singing in that band.
Black Pider.
Yeah. Yeah. Black Pider. He was turning into Black Pider at those times, I think. So we played some cover songs from different heavy metal bands and then made few songs of our own, but those are never released, which is kind of a good thing. But
but they exist.
I don't think we recorded anything actually, but we played few gigs maybe at our school and some youth happenings here in Iisalmi. There was a really good I think there was a really good scene with young bands in Iisalmi from the mid-90s or something like that. So there was some good opportunities to go and play live here. So
yeah, I agree. And Pete Kauppinen was a big part of that. Our youth, how would you say it? The guy who like arranges stuff to do for young people.
Yeah, he was not the youth counselor or something like, but he was working for the city and taking care of places for youth to spend their time. So he was really, he was a huge influence on the young people's in the 90s. I think he's a big reason that there was a lot of people that actually continued on playing music after they moved away from Iisalmi too. Yeah.
I agree. And it had a big effect on my life too, like opportunities to play with bands. What was the name of the first band that you had with Petteri?
I think it was called The Mud.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had that band and then?
Yeah, we had that band, and then when I was 16, I moved abroad for a year. I was an exchange student in Minnesota, in the Minneapolis area or the Twin Cities area there. So there was a break, 1 year break in between the bands. So when I was in US, I did practice the guitar also, but I also played hockey. So those were the two things I did when I was young. So
did you have any bands there?
No, not really. I met some really cool people that were into music, but we didn't come up with any bands or anything like that. I knew this guy from Chile, and he played acoustic guitar. So I think we jammed a little bit at some point, but we didn't actually have a band there. And for some reason, I also wanted to focus on hockey over there. So
for some reason,
I played a lot of hockey at that time also, which I still do like a lot. I don't play anymore, but I like to watch hockey, and I go skating with my little brother in the winter time. So
then you came back to Finland, and now you're like 17.
Yeah. Then I came back here, and It was, I think it was July. I came back, and the school starts at August, and we were maybe a couple of weeks or a couple of months into school, and I ran into a couple of old friends of mine. Well, new friends at that time, but you also know them, Tomppa Riipinen and Vellu and Teemu Pesonen.
Yeah.
And Pasi Räisänen, and they had a band coming up, and they needed somebody to come and try to sing at that band. So we went to their rehearsal place and started to play some songs. I don't even remember what the first songs were, but yeah. Then we had a band together, the five of us, I think, for the next 3 or 4 years. And we played some sort of a mixture of 70s progressive rock and some weird 90s flavored stuff. So,
what was it called?
Well, that band was called Source Waters.
Oh yeah, so you had original songs?
Yeah, mainly originals. We maybe had 1 or 2 covers, but mainly originals.
And I think you have some recordings from that too.
We actually might have some recordings somewhere, but I don't think there was anything really official. But yeah,
because
we did.
Because we were able to record at Studio Jambo at that time too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you were recording there too, weren't you? With the band where Mirkku was singing and.
Mirkka, yeah.
Mirkka, yeah.
Okay, so then you have Source Waters, and now you're in high school.
Yeah.
Almost done.
Yeah, that was when we were 17, 18, 19. So the age when you're getting into bars and stuff like that. So the music started also involve some beer and stuff like that, and we were able to get to perform at maybe bars or something like that. So I guess the opportunities to play live kind of grew, and we even went to play in the other cities nearby, maybe Kuopio, which is about an hour south from here, Kajaani, which is north from here. So. And even, I think we played in some small festivals here in Finland too. So, yeah. I think that band was the first kind of, how would you say, sort of a serious band where we actually rehearsed a lot, and we spent most of our time at our rehearsal place which was located about 3 kilometers north from the city center. So, mostly every day we hopped into our guitar player's, Teemu, his car, because he was the only one to have a driver's license. And we went to have some coffee at the local gas station, Teboil, and then we continued on from there to the rehearsal place. And we could spend maybe after school, we could be there 5, 6 hours, 7 hours, just kind of writing new songs and playing around with the old ones, and that was actually really, really good times, and that was a really nice group that we had together at that time. And I think at that point there was really good young bands in Iisalmi, and I think the scene for the young bands was pretty alive and kicking.
Yeah. What happened then? I mean, did you? Yeah.
Well, then after high school, I went to do my army service, which is not mandatory, but you can choose between civil service and army. So I decided to go and do my army service, and I was in a band there. So we had some big band shows and different kinds of music. I was playing guitar and...
So you were in music troops?
Yeah, music troops, yeah.
Oh, where did you go to army?
In Joensuu, or close by Joensuu.
Okay.
which is maybe 2 hours east from Iisalmi.
Oh, that's nice. Because I was in music troops in Kajaani. Was the band still going to Source Waters?
Yeah, we were still going. So we had few gigs when I was in a weekend leave from the army. But of course, it made it a little bit more difficult because we weren't able to rehearse as much and we didn't see each other that much. But being in the music troops in Joensuu, that was actually I was really fortunate with that because at the same time in the music troops there was a really good bass player and drummer, so we had a really solid rhythm section, and we were able to spend all of our free time playing music. And they were actually in the Joensuu Conservatory at that time, so they were way ahead of me music-wise, and that was. I think I learned a lot from those guys when it comes to rehearsing, practicing how to think about rhythm music. They were really. At that point, they were really into like an older rhythm music, and especially the bass player was really into sort of a bass player's music. So that was maybe old soul, old funk music, and so we were listening to a lot of that kind of music, and we jammed on.
You mean like James Brown and stuff?
Yeah, James Brown and all Marvin Gaye. I remember us playing Marvin Gaye's song. What was it called? I can't remember the song, but we jammed on a couple of Marvin Gaye songs and something from the female stars of soul music or rhythm and blues music. So that was actually a really good school for me as a musician, because before that I was more and more focusing on singing, and at the music troops I had to practice my guitar a lot too, because I don't read any music, I don't read sheet music, so they gave us like a big chunk of sheet music, and guys, prepare to be playing all this stuff next week. So I had to sit down and start reading the notations, and I had to rehearse all over again so I could remember all the songs. So that was actually that was a good thing for me as a musician.
Yeah, I had the same kind of thing when I was in Kajaani music troops, because I think there I actually reached my musical peak, because I was able to play with so many like good musicians who became like professional musicians afterwards, and then I started concentrating on other things.
Yeah, did you guys have a big band?
Yeah,
shows and stuff like that? Or I think those were a lot of fun, because that was something totally new for me, at least.
Yeah, me too. Have you played with big band since?
No, not really. No. Actually, that's the only time of my life that I actually did those things. So yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because I was so lucky, because I'm not that good of a guitar player, that there will be better. Yes, I don't know if we're gonna get that chance. Maybe sometime in the future, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I have the same actual thing, because I'm not actually I don't play guitar that well. I mainly focus on acoustic guitar nowadays, so it's mainly strumming on chords and keeping up the rhythm and stuff like that. I guess I would be one of the last people that some big band would ask that, would you like to come and fill in for our guitar player?
Yes, exactly. I know.
Yeah.
So did Source Waters continue after the army? Army was probably 9 months. 9 months for you.
Yeah, 9 months. I think it was 2000 or something like that. 99 and 2000. Yeah. We did continue after army. I applied into university, and I got into Jyväskylä, which is about, I would say, 3 hours, 7 southwest or south from Iisalmi. So I got in there, so I moved away from Iisalmi and I moved to Jyväskylä 2001.
To study what?
I think it was August. I studied early education, education, and my main subject was early education. So my actual profession is kindergarten teacher.
Okay.
So we had education and psychology and stuff like that, and we specialized in kids from age group, from under 1 year old to under 7 years old. So
what happened to the music dream?
I don't know. I think at that point I was too scared, or I didn't. Yeah, I think it was that I didn't have enough balls to actually focus on music 100%. It was a strong dream for me, and it was a huge part of my life. But I was lacking some balls at that time, as I am maybe nowadays too. So I thought that I should maybe get an actual some sort of a profession, which was actually afterwards when I've thought of that a lot. It would have been maybe more comfortable for me to go and study something involving arts or something like that. But as it turns out, it was actually a really good thing to move into Jyväskylä and go into the university, because that's the place where I met a lot of people that I've played music since. So,
yep, please continue.
Yeah, so it was maybe in the end it was a good thing that I didn't go and study, for example, music, because I don't know, of course I have to guess, but I still see and listen and hear music as a really fresh thing. So it's not kind of I haven't gotten in too deep to it in some sort of a way, so it's still 100% passion for me, more than a profession, even though I make my living or pay my rent with the help of music. But it's still, I've been able to keep it as a huge passion for myself. But anyway, so we are in 2001 now, and I moved to Jyväskylä to study.
So when did Steve N Seagulls come into picture?
Well, in a way, already in 2002. I mean, the band was not even formed at that time, but I met Hiltunen, our accordion player. I think it was 2002 or 2003 or something like that. Well, actually, I think it was 2000. It must have been a few years in when I moved to Jyväskylä. But anyways, early 2000 and something. I don't even remember where we met the first time, but a guy who was later my roommate, who was probably one of the first guys I met first people I met in Jyväskylä, ended up studying the same subject as our accordionist, which is music education. So that's how I met Hiltunen, and I don't know, somehow we started to spend more time in the same groups, and we were playing NHL games and drinking beer and having a good time studying in Jyväskylä. And he was already playing music professionally, Finnish dance music and stuff like that. And I think it was 2000 or 2001 when we formed this blues group with a couple of people from Iisalmi and a drummer. They were studying in Kuopio at that time. So at the time when I moved to Jyväskylä and when I was living there, we were playing kind of a traditional blues and rhythm and blues and rock and roll music with a couple of friends of mine. traveling around Finland, playing that stuff in bars and pubs and different biker festivals and stuff like that.
And Hiltunen was part of that?
No. That was I kind of mixed those two things. No, Hiltunen wasn't part of that. It was just when you asked about Steve N Seagulls. I actually started to play and sing in Steve N Seagulls at 2014, but I think the first step towards that was when I met Hiltunen early 2000 and maybe 3 or 4.
Okay.
But at that time I was playing totally different kind of music, electric blues or acoustic blues music with Sampo. I think you know him from Iisalmi.
Yes.
Amazingly talented guitar player who is probably, I would have to say, the best guitar player or musician I've ever played with. So
nice.
We were doing different kinds of gigs with him at that time. From blues from the 1930s to late 90s, all kinds of different. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, Robert Johnson, stuff like that.
You were singing. Did you play guitar too?
At first I was singing and playing guitar, but then our bass player, Pasi, who was also originally from Iisalmi, he quit the band and he had to, I think he went to play bass for this Finnish dance music singer or something like that. So we were lacking a bass player, so I picked up the bass guitar and started to learn how to play that. And so we ended up touring as a trio, and I was playing bass guitar and singing. So that's when I learned to play bass guitar too, which was kind of helpful later on.
Cool. And you started Steve N Seagulls, you joined them 2014.
Yeah, the band was formed 2010 as a side project by the 4 other guys. They were playing as a group in nightclubs and cruise boats between Finland and Sweden or Finland and Estonia.
I guess covers.
Yeah, they were sort of playing all kinds of music, dance music and pop and rock and stuff like that. Also, at that time, at least 2 or 3 of the guys had other bands too, which were playing originals, and we actually played in the same band with the bass player and the banjo player. We had a band that we played originals. It was like pop or rock music with a little flavor from grunge, and the vocals were in Finnish. I played actually drums in that band.
Oh.
And there was this 4th guy who was playing rhythm guitar and lead vocals. So that's when I got to know Pukki and actually I think I knew Pukki earlier, our bass player, but I also got to know our banjo player better at that time.
Yeah. So were they playing the hillbilly stuff when you joined them?
Yeah, when they formed the band Steve N Seagulls at 2010, it was maybe leaning a little bit more towards spaghetti western and stuff like that. But there was also a lot of flavor from bluegrass and hillbilly music. But maybe they were headed towards more acoustic appearance at that point when I joined in, and maybe during the year 2014 we cut back on the electric instruments, the electric guitar and stuff like that, and started to perform mainly with acoustic instruments.
Do you know where the original idea for that came?
Actually, I think they were asked to perform in these, maybe I would say 10 restaurants. They were asked to do something involving sort of a spaghetti western theme. So it was kind of a theme thing at the beginning. So that's how it got started.
So like ass chain or something like that. Ass chain. Ass. That chain of restaurants, they had some kind of theme going on.
Yeah,
is that what happened?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I think actually it was the S chain, as you mentioned.
Well, that's interesting that it happened like that.
Yeah.
So they were doing that, and then you...
Yeah, they were doing that,
Yeah.
and there was a fifth guy involved, and as they say in the bands, they grew apart. So they were looking for a fifth guy to join the band to do some of the vocals and maybe play some mandolin and acoustic guitar. So they knew me, or the most of the guys. Well, actually, we all knew each other at that point, and they thought that they would ask me to join into the band, which was a really fortunate thing for me because they are all really good musicians, and we knew each other and we got along very well and still do. So I didn't really think about it. I think I pretty much instantly said that, of course, I'll join in.
So if this is 2014, you got your first hit
now that
right away.
I think we started to rehearse maybe the fall of 2013. We were rehearsing and we did few Steve N Seagulls gigs at the end of 2013 and early 2014. But yeah, it was the summer of 2014 when we... Actually, I think our banjo player came up with an idea of making a video, or somebody came up with an idea of making an acoustic. It was either our drummer or our banjo player. I think it was the banjo player. But, well, anyway, somebody came up with an idea that we should go to our banjo player's cabin and just record an acoustic video over there as mainly as promotional material for our booking agent in Finland, because it got pretty hard to try to explain in words what kind of stuff we are doing. So maybe it was the easiest way for the booking agent also or we thought that it would be easiest way for him to, book us gigs if he can send a video link. So we did a video of the Trooper. We had our friend Jaakko Manninen, who is...
The Jyväskylä Jaakko Manninen.
The Jyväskylä Jaakko Manninen.
On my first podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you had him?
Yeah, he was the first guest here in Hollywood.
I think...
Not your guy, but the other Jaakko Manninen.
Yeah. That's because, that's why he goes by the name Jaakko Manninen Photography, because there's two Jaakko Manninen people shooting still photos and videos. But anyway, this was the guy from Iisalmi, Finland, which is about 45 minutes from Jyväskylä. He's an old friend of our accordionist, so we asked him to come and shoot the video. So there was one microphone in the camera, and then we started to play the song, and he was fiddling around with the camera, and we got.
Oh yeah, it's just one. Is it one shot?
Yeah, all the live videos are with one shot, actually.
Yeah. So they are actual real live.
Yeah, they're all live. At some videos we've used one or two extra mics to get the sound in balance, but for example, the first video, the Trooper, is shot with one mic, which was the camera mic, and then we just kind of formed a half circle in a way that we can get the instruments in balance and stuff like that. And yeah, actually we feel that that's the most at least at some songs that's the very natural thing for us to play, because yeah, for some reason for us it in many cases works really well. So we recorded the Trooper and then we just put it into YouTube, and I think we even sent the link to our booking agent that here's the link for the video. And by some weird accident, it spread on to, I think the first ones was a fan page of Iron Maiden. Somebody posted the link at their page that there's a Finnish acoustic version of the Trooper. And I remember sitting in a bar in Jyväskylä. We had a night off, so I was sitting in a bar with a couple of friends of mine, and I kept looking at the video that, for some reason the views are growing. I think it was maybe 6,000 and something at that time, and I thought that, wow, this is amazing. And in the morning I woke up and I looked on the video, and there was almost 20,000 views on that. So we kind of started to realize that it had spread to some weird weird internet sites, and that's actually how the whole thing kicked up. So we were really fortunate and really lucky with that first video already.
So what happened like after that? I guess the views started growing.
Yeah, the views started growing, and as you would say, the video went viral, and some magazines in Finland and abroad started to notice it and wrote little articles or shared it at their Facebook or internet sites. There was even some bigger music magazines like Revolver from US. I think Guitar Player came along with another video, but for some reason people found it really enjoyable and funny, so they started to share it in social media, and at some point we reached 1 million views or 2 million views, and then we thought that, well, if it seems to be something that people enjoy and like, so we might as well do a few other videos. So, and it also helped us. We were touring only in Finland at that point, so we got some coverage in the Finnish media also. So it helped us a little bit all the way at that point. There started to be a little bit more people in our shows and stuff like that.
So when you get 1 million views, nothing did like anything big happen, or because you're
what do you mean?
Like, was there? I guess I'm just asking like this weird question. Like, when you get around 1 million views, is there like something big that happens? Phones are ringing all the time, or was it really that subtle that
I think
there was just more people doing gigs? What happened?
The biggest help for us was that people got to know the name of the band, because nowadays when people spend a lot of time in social media, I consider YouTube or Facebook or medias like that as some sort of a card, or a way for artists or bands or whatever to get their music or movies or photos or whatever it is so that people can actually get to know that stuff. And if you're lucky, or if you happen to do that at certain right point, you might be reached by a lot more people. So that's what happened to us. Some people noticed our band, and because we were touring Finland all the time at that point, maybe people started to come to our shows. It was actually pretty subtle. We did that video, I think it was mid-June, and already in July we were noticing that some people came to see us because of the video.
And what needs to happen for you that you suddenly are on a world tour?
What needs to happen?
Yeah, like from that point.
From that point, we released a couple of more videos. The second one was Holy Diver, and the third one was Thunderstruck, which kind of exploded for us. That got a lot of attention in different parts of the world, and between the videos and doing live shows in Finland and then doing gigs abroad, there's a lot of stuff that had to happen in between. We started to do more and more gigs with Steve N Seagulls, and actually I would have to say that I feel that even before the videos we were a really good live band. I think the energy and the some sort of a craziness has been there always, so I think that's always been our strength. So now that you get, people get to know the name of the band and they see that, okay, they are performing here, they come and see the band and they notice that, okay, well, this kind of works live. So we were happy to find a good management from Finland, and we started to get a lot of messages from US, from South America, from different parts of Europe that, are you touring here or are you touring there? And then our manager started to find out where is there a good booking agents or stuff like that, and we did few showcase gigs in Europe and in US, and little by little we started by doing few gigs abroad. I think the first one was in Sweden, and then we went to, I don't even remember where, but the videos started to get more and more attention, and then we got few labels that were interested, and at some point we got signed by Spine Farm Records, which is originally a independent metal label from Finland, but nowadays it's part of Universal Group. So we were really happy to find lucky to find a good record label that has sort of enough muscles to release the album worldwide, but also has the ways of working as a independent label. So I think a lot of things happened by accident, and we were really lucky with different things. So then we started to tour more and more abroad, and I think nowadays we tour 60 or 70% of the gigs are abroad. So what do you see like in the future? What do you want in the future for you and your band? Well, our band is kind of in a different spot now. We've done tours in US and in Europe, and we've made 2 albums. The first one was only cover songs, and the second one was mainly cover songs and has one original. Sorry, I'm gonna like when you tour in USA, so or anywhere, like how big are the venues? How many people come and see you? Well, it's everything between 200 and 12,000. I think that's the biggest one. That was in Sweden, a big rock festival called Sweden Rock. That's been the biggest one. And then on the club gigs, there can be people between 200 and 1,000. So how does it feel like to play like to 12,000 people? It feels a little bit crazy. It's it's kind of hard to describe. There's a huge amount of energy, so you are in some sort of a state of mind or something that I feel that there is no I feel that there is no tension or anything like that. It's just pure, in a way it's pure enjoyment, and at the same time it's really exciting, and you have huge amount of energy coming out from your system, and and you just kind of, it's really hard to explain, but I think it has a lot to do with energy and something. It's always kind of a once in a lifetime experience, as are most of the live shows, because it's always different, and at sometimes it doesn't even necessarily matter if there's 200 people in a really small club, and it's really... I remember us playing in Germany in December for maybe 200 people, and it was a really small club, and at some point the humidity started dripping down from the ceiling because it was so hot, and and people were, dancing and yelling, and it was only 150 or 200 people, but it was pure energy, and you can hardly remember anything from the actual live show. So the same thing can happen with a smaller club or a bigger festival. But of course the festivals are something special because you can reach people that normally maybe you would not be able to reach. So
if you think about, because that was so many of our dream to play in rock bands and do that kind of stuff. And so how does it, do you feel like that you are living the dream?
Well, in a way that I am fortunate enough to be able to focus on the music 100% at this point of life. So in that way, yes, and of course it has always been one dream to be able to travel and play music abroad. So of course it is a lot of people who start playing music, of course they have the dream that they would be able to perform live or perform at festivals or perform abroad. So of course, from my point of view, I can only speak for myself, of course, but of course it's a dream come true to be able to perform live to different people in different countries. So we have been really fortunate.
How about what's your... you were talking about your records, but I guess the interesting thing is that you mainly play covers. So what is that?
Yeah.
What's your relationship to that, and how is your band's future looking like?
Well, of course we realized that we've gotten to this point by playing covers and making other people's songs sound like partially like or turn them to songs of our style, but they're still made by other artists, and we all, of course, owe a huge bow to their work and their music. But at the second album we have one original, and now we are actually the next Monday we are starting to rehearse for the third album, and we hope to get maybe 2 to 3 originals on the third album. So we are maybe slowly moving towards maybe playing a little bit more originals, but we don't want to abandon the idea of playing different kinds of classics with our own style, because because we also do enjoy that, even though they are not our songs, but we enjoy kind of taking a song and start having fun with the music. You can actually, I think one of the best things in this band is that you can actually free all your weirdest ideas when it comes to music. We can, when we are rehearsing or arranging a song, anybody who comes up with something, you can yell it out and we might try it out. And so it's kind of liberating. It's really free-minded stuff when we start to arrange. So I think that will always be a part of this band. But we also want to evolve and move along in a way that we could make better albums and make original songs and, have progress as a band. So
yeah,
I think we are moving towards maybe a little bit more on the albums. We are on the third album. I think we might be moving towards how would you say? Well, maybe it's too early to say, but we are trying something new on the third album, I think. But also not forgetting where we are right now. So
yeah. So how is it gonna go? Like, are you gonna tour the world and make records for the rest of your life, like this?
Well, you never know. I mean, it's always kind of interesting because when it comes to being a musician or being an actor or artist of any kind, I think you also know that it's things happened in that moment, or they happened in certain period of time, and after that you have no idea what's going to happen. So it's really hard to say. Speaking for myself now, I can say that I will always make music, and music will always be a part of my life. I've decided that at some point, if there comes a point that music starts to feel as a job or starts to feel like working, then I will quit playing music and I start to focus on listening to it more. But I think at some way music will always be a huge part of my life. But at this point, it doesn't feel like a job or work or anything like that. It feels really good now to do gigs and tour with this band, and actually we are quite excited for the third album. We as I said, we start to rehearse next Monday, and I think it will be a blast to gather around and start working on new songs. So if I try to answer your actual question, I don't know. For myself, the music will be always a huge part of my life, but you never know what's going to happen. I guess playing music for a living is one of the most unstable things in the world. So I hope we can tour many, many years from this point.
How about how about having relationships or family or anything like that?
Well, of course, it makes it a little bit more, I don't know, difficult, but it takes more planning, or it takes more planning also from the band when we plan the tours, and because we do a lot of stuff our own, we run our social media, and most of the merchandise comes from us, and we run our web store and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff surrounding the band that we do. So it's a lot of work, and some of the people, some people in the band have kids of their own and stuff like that. So of course it's a little bit tougher for them with the tight schedules that we are on and stuff like that. But I think we've been able to come up with the good ways of everybody also having time for their families and enjoying their lives. So,
do people actually recognize you?
I don't know.
Are you famous?
No, no. I think we are when we are touring, and if you go and take a walk nearby the venue, people might, if they're sitting down for a beer and you walk past them, they might say that, "Oh, are you from that band? We are coming to see you." So maybe the people that are coming to see us recognize us, because the audio-visual thing is a big part of our band, of course, by the videos and stuff like that. But normally, if you walk on the streets wherever, I don't think that nobody will. I think nobody will recognize us. But of course, people that come to see our shows or listen to our music recognize us sometimes.
Yeah. Since you have been playing so many instruments and singing, how do you like being like the, I don't know if you're the lead singer, but at least you're the guy who sings most of the songs?
Yeah, on this band we have like all the 4 people that sing. Our accordion player is the only one who doesn't do vocals. So we all have songs that we do lead vocals, and that's a really nice thing in this band that we have 4 people that can sing lead and 4 people that can sing backing vocals too. So that gives us a lot of options when it comes to new songs, and we start figuring out that, okay, whose voice is good for this song or whose pitch is good for this one. So it gives us a lot of choices. And also sometimes it's nice to not to do vocals and just concentrate on playing your instrument. But yeah, we have 4 lead vocalists and 4 background vocalists. So I think that's one of the strengths for us when it comes to performing music.
Yeah. So are you happy?
Yeah. You mean
like in generally?
In generally, I think so. Yeah. I think I was a little misplaced for a couple of years. I didn't know where I would like to live in, or I didn't find a peaceful place. But actually right now when I'm sitting here and it seemed that the rain stopped outside. So I think today is going to be a nice day. So at this point at least, I seem to have found a place where I actually feel pretty good right now. So.
And you're by yourself there in the countryside, in a house?
Yeah, right now I am. My aunt and her family lives on the area of this same farm, but that's a little bit away from this building where I live in. So yeah, I live alone here, and I spend my days trying to open up the cardboard boxes and see what's in there, and trying to make this place livable. And I think it's going to be the first time in 17 years that I have more than one room where I live in. So I actually have one room that I'm going to dedicate to music. So there's going to be all my instruments, drums and bass gear and guitar gear and recording gear and everything like that. So I can have days or weeks that I can only focus on playing and recording and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to that too.
Well, that sounds really good.
Are you going to come and visit Iisalmi soon?
Yes, that's what I actually thought the next time when I come to Iisalmi. Now we have met 2 times in LA, so next time maybe I'll meet you in Iisalmi.
Well, that would be nice. I think that if you come here, I will have to heat up the sauna, and we can sit down and have a few beers, maybe.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was our episode with Tomi Tajakka, Remmel from Steve N Seagulls. If you want to listen to previous With Miska episodes, you can find them on my website, miskakajanus.com. Or you can also find them on iTunes. Yeah, we have more episodes coming up. Enjoy. I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.